Hi, good morning everyone. Today I will present to you the situation and challenges of inclusive education. So, let's proceed. What is inclusive education? Inclusive education, the term inclusive education often refers to teaching and learning experiences designed to support the student with disabilities and also for additional student with needed to participate and learning. So inclusive education allows all learners including those with disabilities and additional needs to develop their individual strength and skills, work at a level of optimal challenges and foster feeling of belonging and inclusion. What challenges do teachers face in inclusive classroom? So there are a lot of challenges in inclusive classroom, but I choose 7 in the internet. So number one is lacking experience in an inclusion setting. Number two is lacking experience with severe and profound disabilities. Number three is in creating activities that student or that include all students. Number four is educating student with less severe disabilities. Number five is not having enough teachers aid. Number six is teaching compassion to students. Number seven is coordinating therapists. So let's proceed for number one. Number one is lacking experience in an inclusion setting. So some teachers have not been exposed to special need classrooms and this can be disadvantage. New special education teacher may find the first year to be especially difficult. So, in teaching inclusive education or inclusive classroom, you must have experience on how to cater or handle your student. It would be difficult for you to teach inclusion or in a inclusive classroom if you don't have experience on it. So let's proceed for number 3. So number 2 is the lacking experience with severe and profound disabilities. So when we say severe and profound disabilities, it is when a person has a severe learning disabilities and other disabilities that significantly affect their ability to communicate or to move, like difficulties in seeing, in hearing, in speaking, and in moving. So, student with severe and profound disabilities requires more adaptation and medical attention than the average students. So, teachers must be skilled in handling severe disabilities by creating lesson plans based on individual abilities and adhering to each children's dietary needs. So in teaching in student with severe and profound disabilities, you need to find what is their weakness or what is their capacity in making activities in a classroom. You need also this to consider in making of lesson plan. So you need to have an assessment on it so that your student would be easy on the process of learning that she or he needed. So number 3 is creating activities that include all students. So special needs inclusive classrooms must be able to involve all the student in one of the classroom activities. So I said earlier that when making a lesson plan or in making activities, you need to consider all of your student or all of your participants in the process of learning. So teacher need to address how the student will communicate with each other and encourage everyone to participate. So as a teacher or educator in an inclusive classroom, you need to focus on how your student will be learned by making your own way of teaching. So let's proceed for number three. Number four, educating students with less severe disabilities. When when there are children of all disabilities in the classroom, both physicals or academic, children in the middle can easily fall between the cracks. So providing the right amount of attention and adaptation can be challenging for teachers, especially if there is a high teacher to student ratio. So let's proceed for number five. Number five is not having enough teacher aides. So normally in inclusive classroom have a regular educator or special needs educator. Due to the natural of the classroom and its size, it is imperative to have an appropriate number of teacher aides to assist the teachers with day-to-day activities. Inclusive classroom, it is very difficult if you don't have teachers teacher's aid. It is difficult to have a lesson or to teach a lesson on student without teacher aid because you can't handle all of them on how to become move or we all know that student with learning student with special needs, they are sometimes they are aggressive on in any time. So teacher aid are classroom support staff for teachers. Some example teacher are in some of them are in computer lab, but for the inclusive classroom, it is help the they help the teacher to cater the student with special need. So for the regular classroom, the number of student is only 15 to 22. It is equal to one general educator or one teacher. But for inclusive education, there is only 3 to 10 for the special education setting or in an classroom. So let's proceed for number six. Number six, teaching compassion to student. Not all students have been exposed to persons with special needs before, and this becomes a challenge for a teacher. Teacher must not tolerate insensitive insensitively and cruelty. So, as an educator in an inclusive education or in the setting of inclusive classroom, you should have patience in teaching with special needs. It is because if you don't have that patient, it is difficult for you to cater your student, or you can be removed on the institution that you working in. So let's proceed for the number seven. Number seven, or it is the last challenges and also the situation in inclusive education. So number seven is coordinating therapists. A special need inclusion classroom needs to be organized and allow for students to attend therapy session. So teacher must consider the student on the process of growth or the process of recovery of their student. If your student has therapy or therapy session in their home or in the hospital, you need to consider it. You need to allow your student to participate on that session. You need to consider his or her attendance on your class. So, however, this becomes a challenge in planning day-to-day activities and learning and keeping all students engaged in learning. So, as a educator, you need to prepare and you need to be flexible in the way you teaching day-to-day activity in inclusive or inclusion classroom. So, you need to always consider our student in the process of their recovery when it comes to therapy session. And that's all my report about the about the situation and challenges in inclusive education. Have a good day. Thank you.